Good evening. It's Monday night and it's 6:30 p.m. and we've been doing something for the past 18 weeks of coming together here and pulling some cards of the tarot. And I'm still working with the format of this event, if you want to call it that. So any feedback that you might have is appreciated. For now, we take about 15 minutes. We talk a little bit about life, and then we pull 4 cards for the 4 elements of the Zodiac: fire, water, air, and earth, hence the title. So to start, I'm going to read the first 4 lines of a poem by, by this guy named William Blake. He's considered one of the most brilliant poets and writers of his time. And he wrote a poem called The Auguries of Innocence. And he wrote, "To see the world in a grain of sand and a heaven in the wild flower, to hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour." So he did a really good job rhyming there. And he also, because he rhymed sand with hand and then flower with hour, which is really nice for poems. And then he also conveyed some very deep philosophical thought. Like, in today's world, we move very quickly in the world. You got to go from here to here. You got to wake up. You got to have your breakfast. You got to go to school. You got to go to work. You got to go here. You got to go there. Wherever it is you got to go. You're always moving to the next thing. Where do I have to go next? But he's saying to see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower, to hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. So for me, those first 4 lines of that poem kind of mean to slow things down. Slow things down. So that's kind of a good motto to live by. Like, if things are going too quick, slow things down. You can always say, whoa, 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 stop. I need things to slow down here. And you say it, because things do go fast sometimes. Now, last thing before we move on to the card pull, William Blake, who wrote that poem, he also came up with like this huge mythology of the world. He talked about God and the creation of the universe. It's purely made up by him, but it's really interesting. He came up with a god. His name was Albion, and he descended to Earth, and he fell to Earth actually, and broke into 4 pieces. Those 4 pieces were called Tharmas, Urizen, Luva, and Urthona. So, ironically, he's kind of mirroring something that we do here on this show: fire, water, air, and earth. There's 4 elements of the Zodiac and 4 elements of life, and 4 ways in which we can interact with life. So our friend William Blake, the genius that he was also touching on a little bit of that. So, without further ado, let's pull our 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Fire signs. You've got the Page of Wands. So Aries, Leos, and Sagittarius, you are at the Page of Wands. Look at him. He's standing there in a desert. There's kind of 3 pyramids there behind him, or 3 mountains, whatever it is you want to say. But there's no water. So You may have been in a dry spell of sorts, in terms of maybe emotional fulfillment or emotional attachment. But this Page of Wands is still holding on hope. He's holding on to a wand which has leaves growing from it. Leaves require water, so leaves also require um, the water in order to grow. So maybe you haven't been nurturing yourselves well enough, or the people around you haven't been nurturing you, because we all need a little nurturing every now and again. So this is a card of kind of new beginnings and having hope and um, having faith and looking for patterns, looking for signs. Three mountains in a row like that. Three is a pretty big, it's like one of those magic numbers that they say, where if you keep seeing the number three over and over again, like start paying attention. Um, so that's for you, dear fire signs. Take care of yourselves, nurture yourselves, and have hope and nurture the things that are nurturing to you. Water signs, that would be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You've got the devil. Look at the devil. There he is. He looks kind of scary, but he's not really all that scary. Look at the people who the devil has trapped. They've got a chain around their neck, but they could easily take that chain off. So there's an aspect of choice to this. Um, for you water signs, it's a moment of getting down to earth, like really getting down to earth and choosing something. Um, Figuring out what lights your fire, and figuring out what kind of fruit you want to manifest in this world. What gets you going? What discipline and what rules and what restrictions can you put in place voluntarily in order to achieve the desired outcome? So maybe you want to get better at being a basketball player. Like, what are you doing about it? Are you dribbling the ball every day for 5 hours? Are you shooting hoops? Are you doing your jumping jacks? Whatever it is, um, and that applies across anything. Like, are you trying to be a better doctor? Like, are you reading up on your journals? Are you trying to be a better lawyer? Well, when was the last case that you read, um, or when was the last studying that you did? Um, this is about putting rules into place and doing it voluntarily, knowing that it's going to get you something that you want, and it's going to produce the fruit that you want it to. And it's also people of that nature, people who've already done that. Like, who do you know who's already succeeded in something that you want to succeed in too? Maybe you should talk to them. Um, they'll probably be willing to say hello. That's for you, water signs. Air signs, creatures, you got the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is it's about communication, and it's also a little bit about conflict, and it's also about ego. Look at that guy there. I mean, cloudy sky, an active cloudy sky. So there's definitely been some verbal or communication happening recently, and you may have come out on top, or you may have come out on the bottom. It depends which perspective you're taking. Are you taking the perspective of this guy? Look at those suckers, I beat them. Or are you taking the perspective of this guy who's like, I almost got him. I almost got him. Or are you taking the perspective of that guy in the back where he's like, I had no chance. I was fooling myself. So it's um it's a learning there's a learning aspect to your card this week. And it's also a matter of perspective and understanding that your words and your perception of things is important. It has an effect around you, or it's having an effect on yourself. Which would you prefer? So, conflict, but learning conflict and understanding who you are and what it is that you need to learn. And finally, for earth signs, which are last and never least, um, let's take a look at your card, which is death. Oh my God, we had the devil and death at the same reading. This could be awful, huh? Card of being underneath things, like the fundamentals, like fundamental things. There's something fundamental in your life that you're having trouble with. Maybe it's your finances, maybe it's with your emotional self, maybe it's with your communications, or maybe it's like your energy. There's some kind of fundamental thing happening here. Um, so, what is it? What's the thing that you know to be true, or that um, needs to come down, either in your behavior or your thought patterns or the people around you? Let's take a look at this guy upright. There's death. He's riding his pale horse with his black flag and white flower, and he's just trampled over the king. The king is fallen, and the priest is not too far behind. You may think that the priest might be like protecting. So the priest and the king represent structure and order and like the status quo. So what's coming down for you? What needs to come down for you? What do you need to let go of? Like this woman here, she's kind of given up. Looks like she's given up and just accepting things. What do you need to give up in order to see the truth, which the child is looking at there? He's not scared. He's not scared. So what needs to come down for you in order for you to see the world anew? Um, but only you can decide that. All right. So that's it for this week. Um, I love my husband. My brother is watching, and subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you next time. Fire, water, air, and earth on Iwiniki Media. I'm Mark, Connecticut's tarot guy, and I will see you again soon. Ciao.